Welcome to NFTs with Keys. I am your host, Keys, and this is my lovely friend, Nick.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to be nice, man.
No, thanks, man. I really appreciate it.
That's a thing that I've learned about the NFT community. Everyone's so nice that, I need to start being nicer to everyone in my daily life. I figured that might be a good idea. Because people like to call me a jerk and other things, and, I'm kind of getting tired of that.
That's my bad.
It is his bad.
Yeah, it's definitely my bad.
But anyway, so I was gonna bring up some topics today. The NFT market is helping shape the way the music industry is doing things.
Okay.
So basically, Kings of Leon or Leon or whatever. I think it's Leon.
I think it's Leon, but I'm not certain.
Whatever. That band. They actually have in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame an NFT collection, I guess you'd call it, and it's called NFT Yourself. It sold the total collection sold for $2.2 million.
Okay.
It didn't go to one person, clearly. It had 6,500 copies and 6 golden tickets. This is like the 6 golden ones. I guess they're the best, and those were priced at $100,000 each. So that's $600,000 for just those. And so what's happening basically is it's leading the music industry to be proactive instead of reactive. It's as if they've learned something. That thing called Napster happened.
I think it's a little bit bigger than that. The music industry has dropped the ball every which way they could, screaming piracy this, piracy that, not realizing that change is around the corner and that they needed to evolve with it until they finally did. And now they have streaming, and artists that would normally not get heard are getting heard.
Yeah, and it's funny because when that NFT dropped for them, for the Kings of Leon, the music industry like Sony, Warner, and Universal, they all started researching NFTs and how they can facilitate their artists to release this so they don't get left behind, how they did with the stream, the downloads and the advent of, the .com era. Essentially, that's what ruined music. I mean, the music industry now is just recovering over what happened in the early 90s or the mid 90s. And that's solely due to streaming. So now these record labels and these big companies are actually coming in and helping facilitate the releases of these NFTs so that in these smart contracts, they can tie in that the label will get money too, or it goes to them.
Of course.
So, but in a way, it seems shady, but it's like if you're going to sign to a major label and these major labels are going to sit there and funnel millions and millions of dollars into you.
Right.
And these NFTs are almost guaranteed $1 million things, especially if Drake drops an NFT, it's going to shatter people's records.
Whoa. Can we not give Drake any ideas here? I swear, if I have to bid on a Drizzy NFT, I am going to be so mad because I know I'm going to have to bid on a Drizzy NFT. Let's be real here. If Drake drops an NFT, I'm getting one.
I mean,
have to. Third market value.
That's instant gold. Like Lil Wayne does one, or even anybody. I mean, it could be Dua Lipa. It could be any, like Diplo could do. Actually, Diplo does them all the time, but he does them on Nifty Gateway.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he does.
Okay.
Do, yeah. So a lot of these artists do that, which is kind of interesting how the music industry is really kind of entering the NFT space and this crypto space. They seem to be one of the only industries in everyone's face and in the mainstream that is truly accepting of cryptocurrencies and NFTs like that. I mean, sure, you get some banking stuff, some smaller companies, or maybe Elon Musk doing his thing, really liking it. But as an overall industry in the United States or even in the world, the music industry in general, it knows it needs to adapt to the changing world, or it will be left behind. It learned its lesson, which is shocking because I didn't think the music industry would have learned its lesson from Napster. I
think a lot of industries are now having to actually put in practice dealing with changes very, very quickly. Yeah. Especially something like the music industry, beyond just like the NFT acquisition of music. Let's just talk about like 2020 in general, with no shows, no concerts. Yeah. I mean, these people aren't putting out the actual shows that are pulling in money, real money for them. They're not making money off the Spotify streams and stuff.
Well, I mean, the streaming, unless you're a big name like Drake or whatever, people, then maybe you make some money. But even then, it's nothing compared. I mean, Drake makes like $1 million just to show up to an arena for an hour.
It's like they have to be on top of the ball of this.
Yeah, because touring is really a musician's big money. So like you said last year, so then that's probably why you saw like DJs like Blau and Diplo and all these other people releasing NFTs, because they're in the crypto space, they're in the NFT space. And what's actually crazy and interesting to move on from the music industry, you know, accepting it was the United States Patent and Trademark Office.
Oh, yeah?
Seems to be accepting of NFTs.
Oh, in what regard? Like,
well, it's because the thing is to look up a patent or a trademark, it's really hard to find out who owns it. So when someone's trying to buy a patent or trademark, it's kind of difficult to track the person down and then pay them for it or even negotiate a price for it.
Okay.
So with NFTs, it makes it easy to know who the owner of an NFT is. So what the trademark office is thinking about doing is creating a marketplace to put all the patents and trademarks on there and have the NFT assigned
genius
to
that's
a person.
Genius. That's genius.
So if you owned the patent 97551, I can be like, oh, I want this patent. Oh, I know that Nick owns it. Oh, let me shoot him an email because I have his information.
Yeah, actually, that would make total sense.
Yeah, so I think it's really crazy that out of all the United States governmental bodies, it's the Trademark and Patent Office that...
Oh, no, that makes total sense to me because the thing is, it's publicly available information. We can blockchain that. We can put the actual patent in the blockchain so you can see the patent there. And with the utilization of smart contracts on that NFT patent, you could put expiration dates on there that will self-fulfill, that will actualize. Well, that's actually really cool.
And that's the thing, too. It's like you said, in the smart contract, you could have it, you know, let's say you have the bankroll, you have it set up. You could essentially have it be like, okay, well, let's say you want to have it update so you never lose your trademark.
Right.
Because that's one of those things. I mean, Disney would probably love it.
Yeah,
all their patents and trademarks, like the reason why Disney does those super long trademarks is so they don't have to do Mickey every 10 years or 20 years. Because the worst thing that their brand could ever have is have Mickey go into public domain, and then now you have Mickey doing unsavory things.
Unsavory things legally. Unsavory things legally.
Yes.
Like I can show this because I own.
Yeah, you won't get sued by Disney.
Exactly.
And you won't sue the pants out.
Exactly. I'll just have Mickey getting his Moderna shot.
Oh man. But yeah, so moving on from that, again, that's just one of the more interesting things that has happened in the last couple of weeks. But the other thing that recently happened I found interesting was Tom Brady's autograph and DraftKings a couple weeks ago officially launched. And I know a lot of people don't like Tom Brady. As a Raiders fan, I definitely don't like him.
The Spice Melange.
That tuck. Anyways, not even going to go there. Yeah, Deflategate. Yeah, that's a thing.
Listen,
but anyways, he is the GOAT. He is the GOAT. And the biggest thing is this company, Autograph, which is Tom Brady's NFT marketplace, whatever. You know, they have a bunch of other athletes like Tony Hawk's on there, Naomi Osaka's on there.
Oh wow!
You know, some other people are like the big names.
Yeah.
I think
Apollo Ono, probably.
I don't know. I don't know if he's even
I just
relevant.
think big names. Just dropping big names. Apollo Ono.
He was a big name, like, I don't know, like 8 years ago.
Listen, man, I'm just showing my age here. I had too many Apollo Ono speeches growing up.
But yeah, so anyways, the NFTs that he dropped, where they basically look like traditional trading cards. They just had a picture of his face and then a signature on it. Yeah, I'm not joking. So even me, like, I work with baseball cards, baseball cards now and all this other stuff, and I totally understand that, but I can't wrap my head around just a physical picture of Tom Brady and his signature when it's not like you own his signature or anything, so it doesn't make it
okay.
But like I get it, and we're splitting hairs here because
Nah, man, you see, you're not thinking big enough. You got to think Harry Potter, Hogwarts pictures, Tom Brady on there coming every now and then, like. But then has to leave because Tom Brady's busy. You can't be there all the time, And like the autograph every now and then.
I mean, actually, hey, that's not a bad idea for some PFP, profile picture NFTs.
Right.
We might have to cut that part.
Oh yeah, we got to make money too, guys.
Yeah. If anyone steals it, we're coming at you. Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, each of the NFTs ranged from $25 for like their lowest, or 25 or 15 for the lowest tier.
Okay.
Up to $1,500 for the top tier. So you paid $1,500 for like I think it was a 1 of 1 or a 1 of like 4 or something like that, and it was the same thing, and just a picture of Tom Brady's face. It was just ruby colored and not.
See, like, I can't. It's every time I hear Tom Brady and anything he's trying to sell or people try to get, all I hear is the Spice Melange, the Spice. I don't know if you've seen that episode of South Park.
I know I have.
It's the Spice Melange, guys.
And then, so talking about Tom Brady and athletes getting into the NFT space, a big supporter of the NFT space. I don't know if you know this, but it's, the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, Mike Tyson.
We talking about the boy, Tyson.
And what's crazy too is I love that over the years Mike Tyson's totally digged into his own like past, and part of the NFT collection that he released was the bite.
Oh, good. I would too.
Like,
yeah.
He
Take ownership.
And if I saw the one that I think that they're talking about, it shows like it's all neon colored and it looks like outlined as like a picture or something, and it shows him as a neon Mike Tyson biting Holyfield's ear. So it's just like, that is amazing, because that is not only a really, it's sad that he had to do that to, because he was about to get mollywobbed by Holyfield, because let's be honest, Tyson was failing at that point. I still couldn't beat him up. I still can't, even though he's older than me. But, but that's such a historic and iconic moment in history, let alone just sports history. So the fact that, he's digging deep into that, I think is pretty cool, and like, showing up with all these other NFT works. And the NFT drop was in a collaboration with digital artist Corey Van Loo.
Okay.
Which I didn't know about him until this drop was coming down, and I looked into him, and I think now he might be one of my more favorite artists. So this is what I love about these drops, when you hear a famous person is doing a drop. Well, Mike Tyson's not an artist, right? He just has a name and a brand.
And an ear.
And then, an ear. So he has a name and a brand, and what does he do? He gets an artist to help facilitate, and collaborate with this. And then now millions and millions, if not billions of people now know who Corey Van Loo is. And his art now is probably skyrocketing. So this guy, like, if you bought one of his NFTs and let's say it was only one Ethereum, it's probably worth like 4 now.
Easily.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But because of something like this, or you might even get commissioned for more work. So I think it's really cool that, these artists can come essentially out of nowhere, out of the woodwork, and become, big because of backing like that. And it's like, you don't usually see that.
Yeah, that's
usually like, you might see Mike Tyson meet up with, another famous painter or something, do that. But like, let alone this guy might be more famous than I'm giving him credit for, like for all I know, and comment section can probably tear me a new one for this, but like, I don't know. I didn't know about this guy until Friday, until yesterday. So
that's actually not a bad way to really like do a grassroots effort in the art community. If you're an artist out there and you're trying to get your name out there, maybe reach out to some of these higher profile celebrities or people and see if they're interested in truly doing like an NFT drop.
You got to shoot your shot.
Yeah. You show them some of your content, see if they're willing to put their name behind that.
Similar things happen in the music industry all the time. You'll always hear a story about like one of these electronic producers, scrolling through Instagram, and they'll see, some random singer singing. So they DM them like, hey, and then like, next thing you know, now they're on like a hit record and they're getting a Grammy, and they were literally a nobody like a year before.
Oh, you mean like Ozzy Osbourne when he was on was it Post Malone?
Yeah.
Who's this Ozzy guy? Post is putting him on the map.
But yeah, anyways, back to the Mike Tyson.
Yeah, right.
So anyways, there was 11. The drop consisted of 11 one-of-ones and 6 open editions for multiple editions essentially. So I'm not sure if there was like 1 of 10 or like 1 of 50 on those, but all 11 of the one-of-ones sold out within an hour. And I think the coolest thing with the one-of-ones is it came with unlockable content, as well as a trip to spend the day with the champ himself, Mike Tyson. And you receive boxing lessons from him. You get to spar with his sparring partner, with him as your corner man, which that's got to be cool for anybody who's a boxing fan. I'm sure maybe Logan Paul or his brother or
I fully suspect Logan Paul to be there.
Yeah, he probably bought one.
Yeah, he probably bought one.
Yeah,
like, if I were Logan Paul, I'd bought one.
Yeah. Or anybody who's any of these YouTubers or TikTokers or whoever that it's been doing the celebrity boxing stuff. Like, hey, it's just a day, but you might as well get taught by the most dangerous and baddest man on the planet.
Right. Right.
So, and the other thing that I found out that was kind of interesting was you get to elevate yourself with the champ for 4 minutes and 20 seconds.
I think I saw that too, and I'd be down. I would very much like to elevate myself with the champ for 4 minutes and 20 seconds.
If you haven't come to realize what elevate means, is you're going to get high with the champ. Tyson also has Tyson Farms, which he grows weed. So yeah. So I think that's a pretty cool thing. I mean, obviously you don't have to. Another thing that the real thing that brought it up to me was an article that I was reading, and it said, in order to claim that the Tyson NFT, you need a COVID vaccine or you need to be tested for COVID. And I was like, why is that? Why just own a digital what, like why would I have to get a COVID vaccine, get these vaccines or get a test just to prove I don't have COVID to buy a digital collectible? And then that's when I found out all that stuff.
And then, so he intends to pass the blunt. I get it. Yeah.
And I mean, just being around him, he's 55. So it's whatever. True. You have to use your own prudence, kind of thing.
55, really?
Yeah, he's 55 years old. And did you see that match when he, it wasn't Joe Louis, that was way older, but he had a recent boxing match. Dude looks really good. Terrifying. Terrifying. Logan Paul should fight Mike Tyson.
I don't really condone Logan Paul getting killed like that, but
No, who knows? I mean, people said Logan Paul was going to get killed by Mayweather. I mean,
he probably would have if Mayweather hadn't. But he held his own. He really stood his ground. He did a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, he did more than I think anybody.
Props to you, Logan. You really held your own there. But yeah, I hope you got one of those NFTs, and if you did, I hope you bring in your boy, and your boy's got a camera, and you can live stream this.
You know that's how he works. He would definitely vlog that and probably put it on the Maverick Club.
This is the way.
Because the Maverick Club's his paid subscription service. You know that he has that too, right? His fans pay. I'm
going to apologize. I'm not a Logan Paul fan. I know nothing about.
Neither am I. I do have to give it up to Logan Paul, though, and I know we're talking about him a lot. He's part of the reason I found out what NFTs are. So I kind of can't hate on him too much because of the fact, he kind of helped me put it into the NFT and the value of it, because I was like,
fair enough.
But he's telling on one of his podcasts, he's talking about how much money these CryptoPunks were, and they were free back in 2007.
Listen, you don't need to swear like that on the NFT news. Free, come on.
CryptoPunks were free originally and same with CryptoKitties when they all came out and all that stuff through Lava Labs or whatever.
This is my fault for not believing in NFTs
early enough. Yeah, I wish I would have known.
I mean, anyone want me to mint them NFTs? I'll mint you NFTs with the best of them. I just creatively, the creative factor's not there. I can draw stick figures, and even those are bad.
Yeah, they are. But yeah, so the other thing that happened, moving on from, I guess it's an athlete. I call these people more entertainers.
Okay.
But the NFT space is now being, courting, or I guess the WWE, let's just be honest, wrestlers. Entertainers, I don't call them athletes.
Okay.
Understandable. Steroids gets used widely in that sport. Yeah.
Okay. They may not be an athlete in the traditional sense, but I will still give a standing ovation to a man that can take a folding chair to the face.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's not like the old days with the cage matches, Mankind and people getting hurt.
The good old days.
Yeah, the good old days of the 90s and early 2000s. Anyways, but John Cena is officially going to be the first one out of the WWE camp that's going to have an NFT drop, and I guess it's going to consist of one platinum tier exclusive one of one NFT, and then what comes with that is a quote unquote once in a lifetime experience for two at WrestleMania 38 in 2022.
Wow.
Knowing the WWE, I wonder what once in a lifetime experience means, because it's the WWE. Are you going to get hit with a folding chair to the back?
I hope so.
I really hope so.
Oh, please.
I almost want to pay to watch it, just to watch the guy who bought an NFT go up there. Or is this just going to be some dude sitting in a box getting hammered all night going, yeah, get him?
More than likely the latter. More than likely the latter.
But I feel like they should do something, have him get hit by something, or you know what I mean? I don't know. Or it be, no, you couldn't be a ref. They're the choreographer for the, was I not supposed to say that?
Ref?
Yeah, the refs are choreographers for wrestling. They don't ref. They when someone actually gets hurt, the ref comes up and says, "Are you okay to go through? If not, then they'll call the wrestling match if he's really hurt."
Fun fact: I never really watched wrestling as a kid. I never really got into that. I thought it was kind of dumb. My cousins were really into it. Good for you guys. I was more of a Power Ranger kid. Hey, man. Fake
Moving
fighting.
on.
Fake fighting.
It's all fake fighting at the end of the day. At least one wore better costumes and not spandex. But anyways, moving on to our next topic here. And it's, I don't know if you know about this, but it's a kind of a thing going on in the NFT space, and it's the right-click crowd.
I recently heard.
Yeah, so there's kind of a debate going on as whether they're hindering or helping. And I don't know if anyone out there knows what the right-click crowd is, but essentially what it is it's the people who kind of make fun of NFTs, and they'll right-click on an NFT and save it and be like, hey, look at my new NFT. It was free.
Yeah.
You know, especially on these, you know, not crypto bytes, that's our show, but on these crypto punks, you know, or on any of these other profile picture, you know, NFTs going out there that are insanely expensive, you know. And it's like, sure, you can say you quote unquote own it, but you're not really owning it because it is tied, you know, it's minted, it's somewhere. You can prove that you just have a JPEG, you don't actually have the actual NFT, you don't own it. So, you know, there's the people on saying it's helping is mostly saying it's free publicity for their NFT. Like the Bored Apes are a good example. Some people, they'll have people be like, oh, hey, like, you know, I have this new NFT, or I just bought this Bored Ape, or they're even bragging to the person who owns it as their profile picture, be like, oh, hey, look at my new NFT. And they're like, oh, cool, thanks for the publicity. Because when they go to sell it, you know, next year or next month or tomorrow or whenever, more people know about that this specific person. So they might actually start going towards that person like, hey, I want that. Here's 200 ETH.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point that I never even thought about.
So that's kind of like the helping aspect, and the hindering aspect, I guess, with it is really more so with how it's not helping, it's hindering the growth of the NFT space. And I know it sounds crazy because NFTs right now are booming. They're going to Uranus right now, you know, like they've gone far and way faster and way further than what most people with crypto, because crypto's been around a while. Bitcoin, sure, it started at nothing, and it's like almost 50 grand again, you know, as of like last night. I think I saw it at 48, you know. So it's just like, yeah, sure, but that's cool. But now you have these NFTs, and literally people who, like, I know a guy that I found through NFTs, and he lives in India, and his monthly salary was like $300. In 2 months, he sold 27 NFTs for 1 ETH or more.
So he owns he owns the city now?
Yeah, he's basically
his town.
He's probably like the richest person in his city.
Right.
He's for sure the richest person in his family.
Or the richest person his family knows too.
Yeah, probably. You know, and that's all off of his art. So it's a little different, you know. But like the thing is, I guess, getting kind of sidetracked with that, but I guess the real big thing with the hindering the NFT space is it's stopping people like, you know, laymen or people who are on the fence with it. They're like, well, I don't get it because I can just right click, save it. Now I own it. If I like, then I can always look at it that way. But it's not like you're owning it. You're not actually physically owning it that way. Like, sure, you have a copy of it, but you don't actually own that. So it's like you can't sell that copy to like me. I'm not going to pay you. You know, if let's say you have a CryptoPunk and it's just a JPEG file because you stole it, I'm not going to give you $300,000 for that.
Right.
It's worthless. I can just copy your copy of a copy and it's fine. Like if I really just wanted it that way. But if I want to actually own the CryptoPunk, I would have to buy it. So it's like that's where the hesitation, I think, with the with other people is that they don't understand that. So that's why the whole right-click crowd is really kind of stopping growth in the NFT space. Because you imagine if there wasn't that issue, everyone like and I hate to say this, but art galleries would have gone to the way of the dodo bird. They would have been gone. They would have disappeared. You know, all this art galleries, then you would have really been talking about metaverse, like crypto voxels and all the metaverse art galleries there. Literally, art galleries are moving already to the metaverse.
Yeah, I did. And it's that's actually a really cool idea. I mean, you just have a bunch of people with an Oculus type device on, some augmented reality. Heck, you probably even use your phone.
You don't even need to use an Oculus for crypto voxels. You can just do it on your phone and walk around with a little you just move the joystick. Or I mean, I'm sure eventually you could get, you know, to where you can just start walking around in the world and, you know, do that. Or even have warehouses, empty warehouses, and do kind of an augmented metaverse reality where you're walking around with your phone, or even with, you know, everyone's walking around in this giant empty warehouse, and it would look like crazy people.
You know what would be easier is if a company like Amazon gets behind something like this, or Google Glass, you know.
Oh, you mean like Apple?
Yeah, something like that. But something more affordable to the regular person.
But Apple is developing glasses like how the Google Glasses did. And if you, all right, you might not like Apple, but when Apple does something, they don't release it until it's mastered.
I get that.
So if they do that and the augment, can you imagine having glasses? Sure, they might be $4,000 for glasses when they first come out, but I would love a pair of glasses. And could you imagine traveling? It would be the easiest thing. Well, automatic translations.
Yeah, that's true.
And that would all be thanks to the metaverse, because people would have pictures of downtown Tokyo and it would have all the signs, and then you can translate those signs into any language, and then you have the glasses and you would never need translations.
That's true.
I mean, it also kind of ruins, I guess, thought and thinking for the human body, because you'd never need to learn a language. You're born language.
You know, that's a sorry about that. That's a fair point that I never even really thought about. But I don't think that it's going to really hinder us. If anything, it's going to allow for human beings to travel more and to want to experience these things.
But what I mean though is look at the people who live in France that border multiple countries.
Right.
Those people learn 3, 4, maybe even 5 languages, because they need to. But people on the, let's say the western side of France that are, next to England, they might know French and English. That's it. But if they're down more south, they'll know French, English, and Spanish.
Right.
And if they're on the east side, they might know French, English, German, and Italian.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense too.
Or even Austrian, or all this other stuff. So it's like that. But if you get these glasses and essentially, let's say 20, 30, even maybe even 100 years from now, everyone has wearable technology that will just automatically translate stuff for you. There'd be no need to learn a language outside of your own language that the country you're born in. And so I think that's detrimental to humans.
It could be,
but there's a lot of other things that the mind would have to learn instead. Obviously learning metaverse and understanding that, and I don't know. I mean, the whole metaverse stuff. Like I'm not freaked out about it. I'm all for it. I say this to you all the time. I'm a big fan of SAO, and I want full dive VR so bad, so I can just live in a virtual world.
I fully expect the metaverse to come to fruition within the next decade. And when I say into fruition, I mean into readily available. Everyone's technology can tap you into that. So it's not going to be something that is only obtainable and accessible by the uber wealthy. It's going to be done by everyone at every facet of life, except for indigenous peoples and stuff like that.
I think even
they're already not going their non-technological life.
Well, no, even them, they will. I mean, a good example, even though the game was a mess at launch, but Cyberpunk is a good example of what I truly think our world is becoming. And, because think about it, there's the nomadic people living in the outskirts, then they don't live in the city where there's all this, where the metaverse is almost like colliding and starting to come out into real life, where, you get the cyberpunk cities where people are like half cyborgs or all cyborg. And, you have implants that allow you to like exchange credits through your mind or through like a scan or whatever, stuff like that. Like that's all like futuristic cyberpunk stuff. But it's like the people out in the nomad, they're still influenced. They still have mechanical parts. Like even the poor people who can't afford it will eventually.
You're right.
They're just going to have the stuff from 20 years ago. It's just in the initial launch of everything. Like you'll have the Apples putting out the those glasses where, I probably couldn't afford one until it's like the Apple eyeglass.
No, you're getting the Samsung Android version. Let's be real.
No, I wouldn't. You would.
I mean.
But that's the thing is, I also have a ton of Apple products, and it's so seamless between Apple products, and it's like that's a different thing. But it's like, eventually when all this stuff goes, cheaper and it becomes cheaper to make and stuff, then that's when you're gonna see, everyone. Even you'll start seeing third world countries and they'll be walking around and walking in the metaverse, and it's like, how are you walking in the metaverse when your life in the real verse is so crap?
Avatar, baby, Avatar.
And that's the thing too, and I think with these governments, and that's what scares me about the metaverse, is I'm all for the metaverse. I think it'll be great because we as human beings are very adaptable, but I think what scares me the most is how evil, corrupt, bureaucratic governments and politicians around the world, not just in the United States, just, you know, but like think about the Venezuela stuff, you know, how corrupt that government is. Imagine if they were able to suppress their people by giving everyone a set of Oculuses and just, you know, having their drone technology deliver food to them, and then they just stay there, and essentially they just turn into, and for all you know, what new technology, it could end up like the Matrix in there, end up harvesting their body heat for energy,
or, you know, Wall-E,
you know.
You know,
but that's what scares me, is like the evils of humanity are going to shine extremely brightly in that, and I just hope that the NFT community and the crypto community as a whole can rise above that and do good things. And that's where I hope the metaverse doesn't fail. Because, I mean, look at the experiment that is the United States. We had our flaws and we have other things, but we are one of the best places, if not the best place on the planet to come and live. That's why so many people want to come live here. You know, and if we can treat the metaverse kind of like an experiment like that, and keep checking ourselves and keep doing things for the positive and not the negative, I think the metaverse, when it comes, it won't be a bad thing, and I'm excited for that.
I'm excited too. I too share the same negative feeling on that, but we have a second chance. I mean, this is something that's going to be built by a collective of people. It's so large and so demanding that it's impossible for any one entity to take full control. So if we do treat this second parallel digital world, the metaverse, with more respect and more kindness than we treat our fellow man today, then yeah, we could have a very, very enjoyable, a very seamless experience where we have sight, sound, real digital space, all readily available to you, the next level of human communication.
Yeah. And I think that ends NFTs with me. Wait, no, NFTs with Keys. That's the show.
Thanks for having me,
Keys.
Keys.
Of course. I love talking to you, man. Like you love to challenge me, and you have different thoughts. So I really enjoy that. Thank you for coming.
Of course.
Peace to everybody out there.
Have a good one, guys.